I started to realize that if throughout the planning process, right, I am worried about my own paycheck, right, then I'll just drop it.
What do you mean?
I'll just step away for a while because then the motivation is not correct really.
That's interesting.
So when I realized that I can actually just don't care, right? Yeah, then it made things a lot easier. So I realized when that line of thought starts coming in, right, then I'll just like leave it alone for
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll just like, okay, I don't want to do this now.
Welcome to the Authentic Advisory Podcast. Hi, Ash.
Hi Ben.
Yeah, thanks for taking your time.
Yeah, thanks for
to do this.
inviting me.
Yeah, and again on a Saturday afternoon. Yeah, where do you come from?
Came from home.
Appointments today?
No, not today. Yeah, tomorrow have. Tomorrow
Okay,
have.
cool. So,
Yeah.
I mean, how's business? I mean, right now we are already in like August. Yeah, like how's the business doing and everything else?
So far it's good. Yeah, I think start of the year was a bit like rough, but Q2 was good. Q3 is stable, I would say. Yeah, and it's been fun lah. It's been fun. Yeah, recently got to meet a lot of my friends or my clients' partners. Yeah, that was nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like were those like referrals or like
Yeah, referrals.
like okay, but is it active referrals like you ask for them or they kind of like just like hey Ash, so on and so forth?
It's a bit of a mix. Yeah, like sometimes they'll just text me randomly. Other times it's like either during the catch ups or like during the appointments, then they mention that. I think the most recent one was he mentioned that his boyfriend's dad had recently passed over the policies,
Right.
like handed over the policies. Then he a bit blur, not sure what to do, not sure what they are, that kind of thing. Then just nice, yeah. So I'm meeting him tomorrow. Yeah.
That wasn't how it was, right? When you
Last
first started.
time, no.
Yeah. Like how about we just start off from there, right? Like, how was your first year like? I mean, now how many years are you right now?
This is year 5. I just started year 5.
Just started year 5, right? So you look back like how did your journey went about? I know like the first couple of years was actually pretty rough, or first 1 year ish was pretty rough. Yeah. So like what were you doing back then, right? In terms of methods and
Okay. I mean, first 6 months was pretty okay. But that's because I was lucky enough to have a supportive
Very
warm market. Yeah, like friends, family, they were open. Yeah, then that eventually dies out, right? Then like I had to usually lah is once your warm market die out, then you move into cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I spent a while doing that, and then COVID hit. Yeah.
Oh, so that was in like
20 end of start of 2020.
sorry,
Yeah, and then after that everything just like went to shit.
right.
Yeah.
And what was the issue? Like what made you say that you quote unquote exhaust the first level of warm, then you had no choice but to go to cold? Was it like you start to see increasingly number of blue ticks, no reply, or what? In fact, what was your approach anyway to begin with? Like I know it's warm, but like what was the quote unquote like the script? Or, was it like a project 100? Hey, I just joined through that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it was very much like Project 100. But okay, but I didn't do it like exactly like that. I still kind of did like the catch up part because it's like the relationship part is still very important to me first. Yeah, but essentially the moving over is not moving over into a business thing is not like this is how like I think I can help you.
Right.
Yeah, so why not we like if you're open, then why not we like try and see if there's anything I can provide.
Okay, so that was like the approach.
No, it wasn't like that.
Oh, it wasn't
the
like
past,
that.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So in the past, it was very like, oh yeah, like I just joined, like learning new stuff, that kind of thing. Have you looked at your stuff yet? Yeah, it's very standard lah. Like people nowadays, like Project 100, you text. Like I just joined the industry, the insurance industry. Have you done your annual review lately? Like why not we do it now?
All the time.
That kind of thing. Then I think it's difficult because like once the people that are close to you and who are open and supportive, you finish that list, right? Then it's very difficult already lor to meet with people and for them to not have like their guard up, for example. Yeah, or the stigma is there already. Yeah.
And then like what happened? So
right.
You kind of dried up.
Yeah.
And then
move to cold.
So what do you do for like was it okay? So obviously it wasn't roadshows because it was like COVID, right? At a point in time. So
yeah, I used to do canvassing before COVID hit. Yeah, it
Like
was a
straight
lot of
prospect, like survey.
yeah, it was a lot of EP market at the beginning because a few people in my agency they have succeeded in that market. Yeah, but then I realized that I uh preferred to work with locals, so I tried to
Right.
move into that. Um, and I got a couple, like a handful of clients from there, and they are very nice people and stuff like that. But I realized that I think the bigger part of it was I really wasn't enjoying the process. Yeah, then it became very tedious to like get to work.
So it was street canvassing, right? Then
Canvassing,
after that,
I've tried door knocking, I've tried
oh yeah,
road
okay,
shows,
right.
yeah, but out of the three, canvassing was the least, I was least resistant to
Yeah.
canvassing.
Okay.
Then when COVID hit, bo pian, all of these three options not around anymore, cannot do it
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah, so I think at the time the popular thing was lead gen.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was like that was where everybody was just buying leads.
Yeah, so the companies will market like the leads,
Yeah.
and then you buy the leads from them, and then you set the appointment from them, call them. And the thing is like they don't even know who you are. Yeah, so when you call them, it's like the feeling not nice lah.
Right.
Yeah, the feeling really
Right.
not nice.
And you felt like that was worse than if you had to do like street canvassing, because technically speaking, you know, they also like the people on the streets also don't really quote unquote know you also.
Okay, maybe because like I'm a bit like sensitive to like energy or
Okay,
like vibes
yeah.
like that. So sometimes when I meet people like on the street and then they're friendly, you know, and
Yeah.
then it's nicer to like, you know, talk to people and get to know them. Like even if it's just a very short like period of time. Yeah, compared to like you call, right? They don't talk to you, right? Means that's it, man. You hang up already, that's it, nothing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
lead gen. So do you do it? Like do you like buy leads?
Yeah.
How many do you buy and like how much?
I think I did a few months. I can't really remember the amount, but usually companies will have some form of validation or Prudential has lah.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, at that point
Yeah.
in time they will support, you know,
Yeah,
so you buy
reimbursement and stuff if
reimbursement,
you hit
you
the, yeah.
if you hit a certain like KPI, then like they will reimburse you. So I think it's pretty standard everywhere, but I think there was one thing that I really didn't like about it because these companies that sell leads, right, they are not in the industry is one thing, and they are supposed to write because it's like online ads.
Correct, yeah. You
So
write
they
the
are
copy.
supposed to write the copy in a way
Yeah.
that will market the product, right? Then it becomes very misleading.
Mm.
Like people when they sign up, right, they're like, oh, I read that this can give me like, I don't know, like 10% returns or something.
Right.
Yeah, and then when I'm the one like calling them, then I cannot tell them, I'm not gonna tell you like, yeah, I can get you 10%
Yeah,
returns
of
because it's
course.
not reasonable. So yeah. And it led to difficulty lah because already not on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of results, if any, or like how bad was it? Like with the leads prospecting that you did at that point in time?
I would say it's doable.
Yep.
Yeah, like I think maybe out of like 100 numbers, I managed to close like 2 or 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is co-rate lah. It's
Yeah,
co-rate. So it's
yeah.
really okay. The case sizes also were alright. You know, and I have built like relationships with these people and they're great, you know. But the part that got to me was first at that time, right? Cause no money mah. At that time it was a financial thing.
Yeah.
Cause every time if I want to work, right, then I have to pay money first. Then it's a lot of stress.
How much were you earning like at that point in time? Like if
COVID
you,
year like 2020
Yeah.
bringing home maybe about 2 to 3.
right. And
Yeah.
does it include like your scheme? Or like is it pure
Right, so I was still on the allowance scheme.
Right.
But
Okay.
I hadn't fully like cleared it.
Ah,
So that
okay.
was I think at that point in time that was my worry.
Common stress.
Yeah, because you don't clear, you claw back you got penalty
Yeah.
Yeah, so at that point in time I just wanted to clear that first. Yeah, then I think about other stuff. Yeah. But aside from like the financials, because like you need money to make money lah. It's a thing, right? It was very taxing emotionally. Yeah. Because you're already not I was already not enjoying the day to day. And then
the money.
yeah, and then I lost my train of thought.
It's all good.
Yeah. Okay lah, yeah, it's really I just wasn't enjoying the day to day, and then I need to worry about the campaign validation, and then I need to worry about my allowance validation. Yeah, then it's just like
Yeah.
work don't do.
How young were you at that point in time? Because I know like You're definitely way like super
Yeah.
young. How young were you at that
I
point?
joined when I was 21.
Oh,
When I just
that.
turned 21, then I joined already. Then
Okay.
I think that was 22?
Right.
22? Yeah.
What made you join though?
What made me join?
Or like what?
Um,
Yeah, like I assume you JC poly?
Poly.
Poly. Then
Mm,
uni no.
no.
Okay, so like what's the thought process? I mean to join at 21, usually got two types, right?
Mm.
Either they get quote unquote scam into it or scam into it, or number two, there are literally some people who say like, I always wanted to be advisor the moment I turned 21, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, which
Okay, I wasn't on the latter end lah. Like, I wasn't on the first end also lah. But like, just saying, okay. But
yeah.
like, oh, this one is a bit of a long story. But I used to, when I was in poly, I studied law, and I thought that I picked law because I thought it would be a stable career
Okay.
and got money also, like lawyer,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also got into debt when I was younger. Yeah. So during poly years, a little bit after poly years. Then you go out clubbing, go drink,
Yeah.
everybody like rah-rah, then you
Yeah.
got that. Okay, so my mom gave me a supplementary credit card, and she
Yeah.
didn't teach me how to use it. She just just in case
Okay.
you need. She
Okay.
just give. Then I was like young ma, so like credit card like very happy
Yeah.
leh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then until I realized that every month, right, I was in deficit. Yeah. So my mom was kind enough to not leave me to die with the banks, so she will pay off the card first, then I pay her, right? So I was in debt to my mom, right? But it was still a substantial amount at 18 lah. I think it was like 1.5k, that kind.
Like
In
as
deficit.
okay.
Yeah, so
Like
then
every month or like
it was month by month by
total?
month. So I think it went on for about half a year. Yeah,
Okay.
and then I was like, I think at one point I just cannot already. So I just told myself, okay, I'm gonna like, I wanted to cut the credit card. I was like, okay, never mind, I cannot cut because this one my mom pay one. So I just chucked it somewhere at home.
Yeah.
I didn't want to touch it. And then during that period of time, I worked part-time jobs to pay it off lor.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean that's one part of it. The other part was that after poly, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to continue with law. Yeah, because I realized I wasn't enjoying myself as much as I thought I would. Yeah, so the thing about the legal industry is once you start your degree, right, you need to follow through.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to take your bar. It's like 6 years. Then my grades weren't good enough for me to get into like NUS, SMU. So it was private uni or overseas, which is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So I really didn't want to like spend my parents' money. Yeah, and I wasn't enjoying it. So I took a gap year. I went to work in a law firm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this one I don't know if it was because of the boss lah, but it was terrible.
Right.
It was terrible. Yeah, and during that time I was really thinking to switch over to the finance industry, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do yet. I was looking at like accounting. Yeah. Like because
Law and then
I
accounting.
don't know. Then just nice, my friend who was working for my boss at the time as his recruitment officer invited me to a focus group.
Right.
Yeah, but of course it wasn't like an immediate thing, I go there and see. Then
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
they're like, hey, this life very shiok one, like you got a lot of money, you can buy a lot of branded stuff, got a lot of car, that kind of thing. Then I'm like, huh, really? I was like, okay, maybe not. So it actually took a while.
Like how long was it? While?
See, another half year.
Oh,
I took
wow.
a while to think about it. I didn't like jump into
Right,
the industry.
okay.
Yeah. So of course like my boss got follow up lah, me talk a bit more. Then I realized throughout that period also that especially with like going through the whole debt thing, right, that actually right, nobody talks about financial literacy. Then it's not taught in school. And it's one of the most important things that you need to know
Yeah.
to like survive or like thrive in life. Yeah, and then I decided that aside from making this a career, right, I thought it was a very good life skill to have. So for me, like personally, it was a path for me to learn. Yeah, and it was something that you can keep with you like for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and slowly as I started like learning and stuff, then I realized that the education system around finances is really damn shit. Yeah, and then I realized it was a good opportunity to impact the people that I care about lah.
So what was the trigger? Because you took months to think about it, right? So
Yeah.
what was that trigger or maybe that particular event or incident that, okay, you know what, I'll do it.
Oh, I don't really have one. I just told myself to like take a leap of faith.
Okay.
Yeah. Because okay, I don't know.
Was it a
maybe
wake up one day kind of thing, and then like I just decide, you know what, I just take a leap of faith.
yes and no, yes and no. Because I'm a relatively like anxious person. So I overthink a lot of stuff. And then I think I got to a point where I was like, you know what, like the opportunity wouldn't have presented itself if I'm not supposed to try. I wouldn't be thinking about it this long if it's not something that, I should try.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Then
right.
I was like, okay, fuck it, never mind. So I started taking the papers. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was taking the papers while I was still in my old job.
Wait, what? The old job was the
law
one, the
firm,
law
the law
firm one?
firm. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The end work ready, then I'll go find a Starbucks somewhere, then I'll just
Yeah.
go and study. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so you're still relatively young when you're buying leads, and of course you're stressed and everything else, especially
Yeah.
during, and then there's COVID, right?
Yeah.
So then what happened, right? Because obviously you and I have conversations, and obviously you do well on social media, not in the typical influencer way, but more like doing well as in like you do get passive inquiries, pretty consistent, and it's like you're not even like that stressed or like
I
trying to
love
do
my
like
life
18.
now.
Yeah, it's not like trying to
love
work
my
like
life.
18 hours a day kind of stuff. Yeah, so like how did that transition happen, right? Because
Right.
we all know for a fact, like social media is not something like, oh, you do like 1 week and then suddenly you get like 5 passive inquiries, right? So it requires that transition, correct? So like
Yep.
what made you decide to move to that transit into like warm and more social media rather than the cold leads or cold calling side? Yeah, like
Okay. I think at the beginning of 2020, before COVID hit, at the start of the year, like they always try to go set and like ask
Yeah.
what you want to do, right?
yeah, pledge
So-
MDRT.
No lah, never pledge MDRT, but okay.
Yeah.
Because I was already thinking more of like business model, how I want my days to look like, that kind of thing. I already kind of knew that I wanted to move into social media. I didn't know what that would look like at first,
Right.
but it was already a thought that I had. Yeah, and then of course it was like dormant for a while, and then we'll go through the year and stuff like that. But and then you guys found me, right? So actually, right, I realized something.
Right.
Because you guys were reaching out on LinkedIn, Instagram, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think one of your assistants, using your account, messaged me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Then it's like a say yes if you're interested, right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
reply back. I
yeah.
reply yes, Nobody got back to me.
Oh, is it? Oh no.
This was like in April.
we gotta look. Oh no, we gotta look at the
Yeah,
systems
no lah,
again.
it's okay
But I
lah.
think that was in April.
That was in
You
April.
joined. You came in when October.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh no.
because
That was long.
Kenny reached out to me in September.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then right, I thought back about it, right, and I was like, you know what, maybe I just wasn't, maybe I don't know, the universe like that didn't think I was ready or something, Yeah, because honestly, right, if I think back like about my headspace and like
Right.
my life at the time, right, I think around like the end part of the year was when I was more receptive to change and to
But what was
things like
happening then? Like.
it was a very tough year for me. Yeah. It's a very tough year for me. I think partially because also I mean at the time I had a lot of family shit going on. My relationships with my family were trash. Yeah, but other than that it was also like I had always placed a lot of importance on like study or like my career. I devoted a lot of my time to like work and stuff like that. So when COVID hit and then everything just crashed, right? Then it felt like, and I had no identity outside of my work.
Right.
So it just felt like my whole world was just like breaking. Yeah. So that was also the year I got into therapy lah. Yeah, but point is during that period, you guys reached out to me, and then I realized also that what you were teaching at the time was very social media related.
Yeah.
Yeah, like could see it like in how you do your own profile and how you all reach out
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And honestly, I was just very impressed with Kenny lah. I was very impressed with Kenny. He's like, what, 18-year-old boy? Like,
Yeah,
then he
18-year-old.
close me that, like what?
Yeah, I know. Like
Yeah.
our team is young and
Yeah, and I was like, wow, cannot. If he can do this right, it means like I need to learn. Like I really need to learn. Yeah.
So you talk about so you see you mentioned, it's interesting, you mentioned like that was the year where obviously you had a lot of ups and downs, right? More downs than ups, I assume, in that year. And you had to go therapy and everything else. So how much were you earning at the point in time?
About 2.
Still
Yeah,
about 2, right?
2, yeah. Oh, when I started it was maybe like 4. Then
Oh,
it
right.
then
Then
it dipped
because
mah.
of the COVID.
Yeah, then during COVID it's like I think the highest was like 3. So
Right.
it was like fluctuating because our
Right.
paycheck's not stable.
Right.
Yeah, so it's really a lot of like turmoil also.
And I assume it's not even about like the money. I think it's about like the grind. Like how many hours were you working, or were you just
Oh,
like
wow.
screw it and then like screw it, just let it be, and then still earn 2-3K, or was it like you super grind and
No.
like try to make things work and
Yeah.
then earn 2-3K a month?
Wow, okay, so COVID start at home, nothing to do mah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wake up, I work. I work until lunch, work some more. Then dinner, then work some more. I sleep at like 12. So I think my entire day was just work. Yeah. I think can easily like 12 hours, 14 hours, that kind of
What were you working on?
schedule.
What time? Because like I mean of course
Let me
maybe still a bit
remember.
legit at one time, but like because it wasn't, you can't do roadshow stuff yet. Yeah. So what were you working on at the point in time?
It was a lot of online initiatives.
Okay.
Like aside from like buying the leads and stuff like that, right? I think my agencies, they were running like seminars, webinars.
Okay, yeah, that was the
That
in
kind of
thing during
thing.
COVID, yeah. That
Yeah,
was the in
so then I spent a lot of time like creating presentation decks. Yeah, or like researching lah. Yeah, because really nothing else to do mah. Then go and read or go and learn or. Yeah, but it was, I think part of it was difficult also because I couldn't really like see any results. Then the motivation really not there. So even when I say like I was working like 12, 14 hours, right? Those were like quote unquote like good days for
Right.
work. Yeah. Other days like I just don't want to touch or.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't want to touch.
And then how do you get out of it? Because
Yeah.
I like to imagine probably at that point in time, financials weren't, I mean, still had to pay the bills, right? Financials in terms of like income coming wasn't like the best. You had personal side of things that's happening, and then like there's some, and then you stay at home, right? Because for the most part at that point in time. So how do you like get out of that kind of like what you call like a sales slump or sales rut, right?
Oh, join y'all. I join y'all. Really, that was okay. I really see
I
that.
didn't get her to say that, okay?
Yeah, no,
like
this is like
yeah.
all me, okay. But really, I think that was the marker of that was my main what I can remember as the marker of change lah. Because I joined in, and even my first few months also I very on off one, right? I remember.
It
Yeah, because
wasn't
I was
like
dealing with
you weren't
other
like
shit.
that active.
Correct, yeah. But I was watching all the modules. Yeah. So I think I joined in October. Then I was still a bit awkward to come my own coaching call. Then I was watching the modules, and then that kind of gave me like something to do also, and it was very applicable. So I was just slowly trying to work that into my business lah. Yeah, and eventually like I had questions, so I start asking, and then of course like because you're so isolated like during COVID.
Yep.
Yeah, the coaching calls were also great because like, you just get to like talk to people or
Yeah.
it's such a big thing, you know, like
Yeah, at the
human
point in time
relations is such a big
at
thing.
the point in time it was a huge thing.
Yeah, so I was lucky also to have some friends like in marketing that were helping me with the beginning.
Yeah.
Because they understood more ma. Yeah. But I think at the beginning it's very standard. Like you just have to like set up your socials properly.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I had to learn how to create content also. Yeah, which was intimidating. I think my first piece, because I used to do videos with like the slide in slide out graphics, and then the like the wording, and then it's like a voiceover, right? Oh, I think my first piece, right, it took me like 1 week to like complete, cause the inertia was just terrible. Yeah, you gotta learn a new software, and then you damn frustrated, and then my voice sound weird, all of those things. Yeah, it was but I mean, looking back, it was fun lah. Yeah, because now like if you ask me to do a piece of content, I can finish like maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, it's a huge improvement.
Yeah, 1-2 hours.
But you remember just like I mentioned, like social media is not even like okay, you do like 1 week, 2 weeks straight away get the kind of like results that you want, right?
Yeah.
So how long did it kind of like took from maybe the first day you posted something all the way until your first passive inquiry?
First passive inquiry.
Yeah.
I would say 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah. But I started seeing a difference 4 months in.
What's the difference?
The difference was that when I was talking to people, people were already watching, already noticing that like I was posting quite often.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and they were, I think the biggest line that I remember is, wow, you're very different from other FAs leh.
Okay.
Like, my friends who are in FA, right, they don't do anything one leh. Like, the perception is there lah, because
Right.
like,
Yeah.
socials are everything nowadays. Yeah.
Okay, that's true.
It's like, wow, you really, really very effort eh. Yeah, like confirm not easy to like create so much like content, that kind of thing. Yeah, so it was the marker, I think that was 4 months in. And also because of the content that I had been posting, right, when I meet up with people, it was already a conversation
Right.
that will come up, man.
So what you're saying is like at a point in time there wasn't like, an instant, very tangible, like, okay, someone DM you and say, hey, can I meet? There's none of that. But what you realized was that the offline, like the online posting helps you reinforce the offline relationship or conversations that you have.
Yeah.
How do you make it easier? Like I know they will talk about it also, but how do you find that it made it easier in the sales process per se?
Okay. I think first, right, I stopped being scared to tell people that I was an insurance agent.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was a very big thing because, like, like because of the stigma, like
Yeah.
people will hide one ma.
Yeah.
So when you post, right, there's no way to hide one. It's there already.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then because you are putting your job and yourself out there, right, when people meet you, they are okay one. Yeah, not, I mean, caveat is you don't try and like hustle
Yeah.
or push like the minute you meet them or stuff like that lah. But if they are okay to meet you, generally are very friendly people. And then when you talk about like life and stuff, work will come up, and then immediately from the work conversation, right, you'll be like, hey, yeah, I see you've been posting a lot of content, like it's actually very helpful leh. Yeah.
Okay.
Then after that I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Then after that they'll start asking like more questions.
What were you like specifically posting? Like majority of content. What was it on at that point in time?
Okay lah, cause I'm still like baby ma.
Yeah.
Like even in like adulting, right? So at that time I was just posting things that I thought were helpful for me to things that were helpful in my own like financial like journey. So stuff like budgeting.
Right.
Yeah, how to track.
Like the fundamental and
Fundamental
essentials.
stuff.
Yeah.
I started with fundamentals. Then I slowly, because I had more conversations with people, that I started realizing the main problems that my market are facing. Yeah, and mostly it's like very difficult to save. Don't know what kind of insurance to
Yeah,
get.
especially when you're young.
Yeah,
at the
when you're
age,
young,
right?
it's like that one.
That time you
Yeah.
were 20, 22.
Yeah, correct.
22. Yeah, okay.
It's like the paycheck lifestyle.
Yeah, clubbing and all the other shit.
It's
Yeah.
how to get out of that. Yeah, so
Okay.
that was the fundamentals law were a big thing. Yeah, then the problems. Yeah.
How do you not lose faith? Like what I mean by
Wow.
that is like, I think it's very common in the not only in the advisory space in life, right? Whereby you post a content, you post certain things, and then like 3 months in or even just 1 month in, how many times were you posting a week at the point? One?
3
Three times a week, right? Yeah. So wait, 3 posts or 3 stories?
3 posts,
Like 3
stories.
posts a week, right?
Yeah, 3 posts a week.
Then stories is
like 5 to 8 a day.
Oh, so okay, so
Yeah.
so then your first kind of like positive reinforcement was kind of somewhere in like the 4th month, right? And then like 6 months they get passive inquiries and so forth. Then the question then is like, how do you
Survive the first 4 months.
I mean, of course, you probably still have your own ways, like the usual ways of like the prospecting and stuff like that. But how do you kind of like not stop, right? Because you could have just like, screw this isn't working, right? I mean, of course, at the point in time we are sharing and teaching and everything else, but you could have just said like, I'm not seeing any results, screw this. But what made you still continue and what they call like persist on into doing? Because that requires faith, right? Yeah. So like what made you like? I just want to understand what's your thought process, because I think that will be
Right.
very important for people who's watching, right? Because sometimes we do the things, we do the work, but yet the results doesn't show.
Yeah. That one very hard because you cannot control ma. To a certain extent you cannot control. Yeah. But I think for me, a big part of it was that I enjoyed it. Yeah. I just thought of it as, okay, this is how I'm gonna start like documenting my life. Yeah. It's just personal, my Instagram personal blog lor. Yeah. And I think one of the bigger motivators was also the Sorry, can you repeat your question? Sorry.
Yeah, no. So I just wanted to ask, like, how do you not stop? Like, how do you carry on even though you don't get the results within the first 4 months?
Okay, so I enjoyed I was
You
enjoying
enjoy
what I
it,
was
yeah.
doing. Oh, the other thing was because I like creative stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was also like a mini outlet for me.
Right.
Yeah, the content creation was a mini outlet for me. Yeah, that's why it was more fun than like canvassing, you know,
Okay.
or like buying leads, you know, because there was something that I enjoyed in the day to
But have you
day.
not considered like not doing it because because like one of the because the main objective that you were doing at a point in time, yes, on one hand is documenting, right? But the reason why you even initially took it at first place was because you're saying that it could help you get passive inquiries and could really help reinforce certain things, right? Yeah. But then when you didn't get results, like what made you still?
I think at that point also like there are two things lah. One was that I was at quite a low. I already had nothing to lose already.
Okay.
Yeah, then I just like okay I just see how far this can go. But the other part was also that I mean pre-COVID also I sold policies mah. I still have clients that are with me, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel good like just giving up ah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think that was a quite a big driver also. Yeah, see how far this can go, find a way to enjoy like the day to day so I'm not like miserable, you know. Yeah, and it paid off. Paid off.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what happened? So let's say you mentioned 4th month, there's some reinforcement. On the 6th, you receive your first like, passive DM, right? Who was it from? Like where did this person?
I can't
You
remember.
remember? Yeah, okay. So and how do you feel at that point in time, if you remember?
Oh, like, wow, this is possible. Like, oh my god, it actually happened. Yeah. Yeah.
Then from there, like how has the progress been? Because I mean the thing about social media is generally speaking, like your first few times or first few months or first initial period, it's not gonna be that quote unquote successful because you're really building the foundation.
Correct.
We need to train the audience to really understand, know that you are there for the longer run. You know, it just compounds over time. But like
Yeah.
so after 6 months, then like what kind of like results, you know, like how many even right now, like how many passive inquiries you get like in a month and all this stuff? That if you had to average out, right? Of course we can't predict, you know,
Yeah,
when
of
it's yeah, but if you
course,
average
yeah.
out like
I get one every 2 weeks. Yeah. But nowadays, aside from passive inquiries, I'm getting more referrals also.
from existing clients or
Yeah.
wow,
From
okay.
existing. Yeah. So last time it was one every 2 weeks I'll get a passive inquiry. Then now it's a bit more like like I got somebody to introduce you, or my friend needs help.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh my god, like thank you for thinking of me.
Oh.
Holy shit. And I'm like, yeah, like I trust you, you know, you do good work. I was like, okay, okay. Yeah, so there's that
yeah.
reinforcement also lah.
Yeah. And how many hours would you say you're kind of working right now all in, like from content to client servicing and all the appointments and the 1,001 texting, prospecting kind of stuff compared to like
Last
you know,
time.
yeah, when during like COVID when you really struggling and first started off.
Well, I think now 6 to 8 hours a day. 8 hours is like if my day really super packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say 6 hours. 6 hours is a good number. Yeah. Because the day is split also ma. It's not like a full 6 hour chunk. Yeah, but it's about there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, then sometimes spread over weekends. Yeah.
And I'm guessing like it's not only just I mean of course first the number of hours reduced, right? But I was also assuming that you kind of like enjoy kind of like the work a lot more. Like these 6 like not all 6 hours or 8 hours are created the same, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because like it could be 6 hours of hell or 6 hours of like enjoyment and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like you feel like enjoy more like the day to day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, aside from like, you know, when you're not with clients, is you're either doing administrative,
Correct, yeah.
doing content
Backlog,
creation, back
claims,
end,
yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
thing, claims, servicing, or like work meetings.
Yeah.
But now I think the biggest difference is now that when I am with like my prospects or with my clients, right, it's damn chill and it's so fun because the priority is the relationship first. Yeah. And I get to like see who I actually can like vibe with and who I actually like enjoy working with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's great. Yeah, because I would say when you prioritize relationship also and like your prospects or your friends or your family can feel it, right? Then there is a higher level of like trust also. Yeah, and it helps because then aren't so like scared to give you the information that you
Yeah.
need to like really fully like help them.
But what do you mean by prioritize relationship? Does it mean like, during clients or meeting a friend,
Mm-hmm.
and then all you do is just talk to them? Or what do you mean by like, when you say prioritize relationship?
Okay. I mean, I separate my casual and my work stuff. I would say relatively well. So nowadays it's more like if I'm just like coming out to like chill with
Yep.
you, it's a in-person thing.
Okay.
Yeah, work stuff most likely will be on Zoom unless the person has explicitly stated that they prefer like face to face. Then we'll do a face to face thing. Yeah. But then the distinction is very clear already, ma.
Right.
Yeah, and I would say the agenda is the same for both parties. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it's not
like
like
they are
a
aligned that okay, this is a catch up, and
correct.
the other one is
Yeah,
work and it's work.
correct.
So, but I think the question that I think a lot of advisors will have, right, and maybe even had it right way in the beginning, which is
Like, I ask you out for coffee, suddenly become a work thing.
yeah. So it's like like logically, people
Yeah.
kind of know that okay, you put relationship first. Right, then it will help you with business, and then in Chinese like 做人先才做事嘛, right? So it's because the people business first, where the word people comes first, then business comes later, right? But I think one thing that's very hard, I've spoken to like so many advisors, right, is that I want to know your thoughts on it, which is like how does the relationship building convert into opening appointments or basically into business, right? Because on one hand, I'm sure some advisors who have also maybe in the past, maybe even now, there are some people that you speak to in relationship, but never ever really like buy.
Right.
Yeah. So like what's kind of like the process or kind of the steps, right? From like to make it more concrete to relationship and then still can get sales.
Right. I mean, when I meet like people for catch ups, talk about life and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Sometimes they will mention that they are struggling with some things or not clear on certain things. Whether they want to ask the questions or not during that time is up to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think also if we know that there is something we can help them with, then there is no harm in offering help lor. Yeah, so I usually if I hear of something that I know I can maybe an example.
Is it like financial planning related?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean most life stuff also will
yeah. Okay.
run back into finances ma.
So what you're saying is that it's not so much only about like product or
no
like stuff, but it could be something maybe that is still finance related, but might not necessarily be related to you earning money from it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like
SRS, I know, tax sort of stuff.
okay, I give you a recent example. Like I think a couple of weeks back I was hanging out with my friend. Not prospect, not client, not yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
just a
yeah.
friend. And then she mentioned that she had some plans to migrate soon.
Like
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah.
How young or how is?
My age also 25 this year.
Oh, legit
Yeah.
migration. Okay.
So she mentioned that cause her boyfriend is Australian.
Okay.
Yeah, so she mentioned the desire lah
Yeah.
to move over with him. Then she was telling me that she felt very anxious or like cause she don't know how to plan the finances properly, don't know if she'll have enough to go over, that kind of thing. And like technically speaking, so I offered to help her because I have been working with another long time client who is migrating. Like the migration is official like next February.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I already like been through that route with them.
Oh,
I
wow.
know certain things that they have told me and shared. Yeah, like certain like amounts that you need to be like comfortable, move over comfortably, that kind of thing. Then I said lah, like maybe we can just have a discussion about it lah. Yeah, I see how I can help you lor. So it's not necessarily like these things are going to open up into like okay, you buy this product, it will confirm
Especially
help
when
you.
someone's going to migrate, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's so short also.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah. But
okay. So that's what you mean by like building relationships.
yeah, you help them with the things that might not earn you money, but it helps them mah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's kind of like we build relationships, and one of the ways to build it is not okay. One of the ways to build, of course, is the catching up, having dinner, lunch, that kind of stuff. But what I hear from it is also like building relationships by providing value to the problems, right? By solving the problems that they want to solve, right? So I just curious, like, have you ever had that thought of like, what, like not seeing instant ROI. You know what I mean? Like, because sometimes a lot of times, actually it's a lot of times, like we say we want to help other people do the SRS, tax planning, whatsoever. But at the same time, like we know we can help. But yet at the same time, we always have to weigh out, for practical reasons, whether can we quote unquote open up like our policies, right? So for example, let's say you do tax planning. Now I'm sure if you are very sophisticated, you can probably link to like how to open up policies.
yeah.
But by and large, it's like, okay, I share with you like you can do this relief, that relief, so on and so forth, right? But it doesn't necessarily kind of like earn you money or open up a life plan or shield plan, right? So have you ever like thought about that? Talk about it such that like it's strategic, or is it just more like, oh, I just want to do my best to help and then like see how that goes?
I think it started off with see how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, but then of course like like you said, for practicality reasons you cannot always be doing that also. Yeah, so then I realized that our clients sometimes they think very short term also. Yeah, and they cannot see like the bigger picture of how what they are exploring now can lead to better things for them.
Okay.
Yeah, like example is like I think one of my clients this year, he asked me about some tech stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So the usual that you talk about reliefs, talk about this, talk about that. But then I just open up like I just tried to spend him like further. Like if he were to put his money into CPF, it's locked up until 65. He put his money into SRS, also locked up until like what 62. Yeah, 30, 40 year old lock up. And his idea is just I just want to sell him taxes, like, but I don't want to lock up my money. Yeah, that's why he asked me for help lah. So then it links to bigger things also, because there's a reason why you want this money available.
Okay.
Yeah. Then you need to question or you need to understand. That's why the talking about their lives, talking about their dreams is very important to me, because there's information there that if you don't care one, right, it's very hard to get. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, then ended up we realized he just wanted long story short lah, he just wanted a passive income stream lah. He just didn't want to pay her. So now the company is paying his taxes for him.
Right. Okay. Right. And then I see like that's where it can kind of lead to that opening in that sense, right? Which is because
It's
passive
organic.
income.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like it's not like I'm like trying to push a product.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's basically like this a criteria. I think we talk about this. Now that you mentioned it, talk about it last time, which was like you help them with something, right? And then after you help them, then you've really fact find and understand a bit more. Then usually there's like a next problem they have, and then the next problem is usually like passive income or lack thereof.
Yeah.
For that.
So then if the product can solve the bigger problem and the immediate problem, then why not? Why not?
Right.
Yeah. So like I think the other thing also I learned throughout all of this is I realized but because again for practicality reasons sometimes like we get in our heads also, right? I started to realize that if throughout the planning process, right, I am worried about my own paycheck, right, then I'll just drop it.
What do you mean?
I'll just step away for a while, because then the motivation is not correct really.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like when do you set those intentions? Is it like during the appointment, or is it more like
No, it's like prep work. Yeah, prep work kind of thing. Because you need to go through the certain products, see if it makes sense, that kind of thing.
Correct.
And usually some agents or like the bosses who are not direct with the client, right? Yeah, then it's very difficult for them to like care. Yeah, then they'll be like, okay, I sell this lah because this one gives you like higher KPI, highest comps, that kind of thing. Yeah. So once, and it's a thing that is drilled into you the moment you join. Yeah. So when I realized that I can actually just don't care, right? Yeah, then it made things a lot easier. So I realized when that line of thought starts coming in, right? Then I'll just like leave it alone for.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'll just like, okay, I don't want to do this now. Yeah.
And is it like you make a conscious intention to be aware of those thoughts?
Have to be
And like do you have to meditate so that you're aware of thoughts, or like was it kind of like something that you put a post-it and say like, okay, if I'm thinking of this while I'm planning, stop?
Okay, I don't know. I think it was a more natural, organic like learning curve for me. Just so happened that was a lesson that came up. Yeah, but it wasn't like I need to like remind myself. Yeah, because I think I also will feel guilty lah. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, okay, that's very interesting. I never heard anyone like catch themselves. I mean, they probably caught themselves like thinking about like how to sell the highest comms product, which is nothing wrong. But I've not heard anyone that they can step away
Oh, something that helps. I actually don't know what the comps are. Not really.
Oh, okay.
Not really. Like sometimes like my clients will ask me, so how much are you like getting on this? I'm really not sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I think I know it's like business wise it's not great
Yeah.
because like you're supposed to know,
Yeah.
right? But it helps with the detachment lah. It helps with the detachment. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow, that's very interesting. Anyway, I noticed that you have tattoos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think when I first met you, you didn't have tattoos,
No.
right? Yeah. So when you got these tattoos,
This was the first one.
right?
Got it in Vietnam last year.
Does it mean anything? Like,
Yes and no lah. Yeah, I would say the meanings are not like concrete. Yeah, but it's mostly aesthetic.
right,
Mostly.
right.
Yeah, I always wanted like a dagger, which turned out to look like a sword.
Yeah, it looks like a sword.
Yeah.
Look at the sword over there.
Yeah, so very good. Yeah, then this one I did last year in December. Yeah.
Right.
So it's just a Alice in Wonderland reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bunny. Actually no, it's not a bunny. It's a jackalope. So some mythical like bunny
Yeah.
creature. Yeah. And then this one I got it in May.
Right. And you mentioned like you don't have like it's not like a significant like there's a meaning to the things that you.
No, I just drawn to them.
What's the thought process though? Like, I mean, I don't like some of the people that we have around us is like okay, do tattoos because they want to remember something or like it signifies something basically, right? Yeah, and was yours like triggered by maybe like okay, actually I might want to put something that is permanent, or was it more like I just like it, creative stuff, and then I put it on my body?
Wow, I have wanted tattoos for a very long time already.
Okay.
Very long time already, since I was like a teen.
What's the legal age again? Like to get tattoo?
16 ah.
16 ah.
16 ah. Yeah. Okay, I'm glad I waited lah until like 24, 25 because I feel like a lot of people regret getting tattoos when they're young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like younger lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've always wanted them. Always wanted a sleeve. Didn't really have a plan lah. Yeah, that's why I say when I look through stuff and sometimes certain tattoos like just look, they just call out to me lah. Like okay,
Wouldn't you be? I don't know. Have you considered because some people do, like even myself, it's kind of like permanence, right? And what if, let's say, in the future, your preferences, your maybe certain beliefs change over time, and then like it's still like permanently on your body, reminding you that you did it. Yeah. So like, have you thought about that, and what's kind of like a thought process behind it, or you just more like, doesn't matter if like how does it?
I think sometimes people attach too much meaning to these things. I mean, because it's permanent ma, so then the thought process is permanent means it must mean something very, 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 very deep.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But to me, like, you wanted it at that point in time. It meant something at that point in time. That meaning can change one. Yeah, because you are also evolving, what? Yeah. So it could just be a reminder of what your life was back then. Lah. Yeah.
Well, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, because talk about meaning is like
you choose the
you
choose the meaning.
Yeah, you choose the meaning, right? Yeah, you choose the meaning that you want to attach, right? Like you want to ascribe to I had this I can't remember where I watch it. But it's basically talking about like like in Asian society, especially in Singapore, let's say a funeral.
Yeah.
Right? If everybody should be kind of crying and sad, right? But if let's say you're the one, if let's say at the point in time when someone at a funeral and then you're very happy and still can laugh and everything else, right? Then people will throw stones at you and think you're crazy, right? Yeah, But then there are in other cultures that celebrates death because it means that they're moving to a higher plane, a higher spirit, and stuff like that, right? Yeah. So I think so it's like facts are the same that both situations someone died, right? But yet we have two different outcomes, right? It just purely depends on like the meaning that you ascribe to certain things.
Correct. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Now I mentioned, does it affect this is something I'm curious about.
Okay.
Does it affect appointments? That is the question. Like, does it affect appointments? Does it hinder or maybe even encourage, right? Or like help the appointment better? like it's not like does your tattoos affect your appointment and close rate? That's the
Okay,
question.
it really depends. It really depends because if I were to meet people like from my generation, right? Tattoos are widely accepted
Yeah.
nowadays. So like they're like, oh, nice. Like where do you
Yours
get
is
that?
what kind of generation? Gen Z?
I mean, I'm Gen Z lah, but I don't want to be Gen Z. I'm in between Gen Z and millennial lah. The
Okay.
transition years
Yeah.
lah. Yeah, but when I meet Gen Z millennials, right, they're mostly like, where do you get that from? Like, it looks nice,
Yeah.
got meaning or not, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's very widely talked about. It becomes a talking point.
Yeah.
It's even better for like resonation because like if they have it, then okay lah, conversation is there already ma. Yeah, and it's natural. That's the best part. It's not like I'm trying to like kaypoh and like purposely go and talk about your tattoos just cause I'm trying to get close to you or anything like that. It's just natural. Yeah. I was worried about the older generations.
Yeah. I assume like, when they
Yeah.
see tattoos and then they're like, this pine this zabo, like,
Correct,
wow,
yeah.
gangster or whatever.
So I mean, there are some that I'm not so close to yet. There are some I will cover lah.
Right.
Yeah, I'll wear a shirt, sometimes you'll peek through or anything, but they don't really care. But there was one time, right, I was so shocked because I went to my older client's house, Ko also. And then usually I speak with him and his wife, and then the two kids like are there. Then I covered ma, because
Yep.
I thought family friendly lah. Okay, I cover, yeah. Then I went, and then I think she saw this part like poking out of my sleeve. Just like, is that a tattoo? I was like, oh yeah. Then she was like, oh yeah, I have one too. Then she just opened my sleeve. I was like, oh my god. And then turns out, so she asked us, so I showed her everything. Turns out, right, she and her daughter got their tattoos together. Yeah, it was so like sweet to see. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, then we just like talk lor. It was fun. I was there doing work for them, but I was like doing all my paperwork and stuff like that, and then just talking to them about tattoos.
Oh, wow. Were there any incidents whereby you had a negative impact on like the outcome?
So far no. Yeah, I think most people are past judging your personality because you have tattoos. I think most. Yeah, I think most.
I think we're definitely moving away from the judgment.
Yeah.
Like, just because
now
you
it's
got
just
tattoo
an
equal
aesthetic
to
choice.
yeah.
Yeah, so even if like let's say they have, right, as long as they can sense that like I'm sincere in like what I talk about or the work that I do and I'm good at what I do, right, then it's very okay already. Yeah, they just look past it because I guess it's a your body your choice kind of thing lah.
Right.
Yeah, at most they tell you like, don't get already lah, like not pretty that kind of thing, but that's about it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That
you
is
get yours?
interesting. No,
Okay, yours?
I don't think I don't know. I don't think
Now
I
got
will be getting-
temporary one, so you can
What the hell
change
is
your
temporary tattoo? It's like those National Day, then you plug those kind of.
now very advanced already now got printer So it's like temporary tattoo ink, like the
Yeah.
kind that you paste it develops over time, and it's like this box, right? So you upload your designs, like if you want to quote or
Okay,
you upload,
okay.
then you just scan it over your arm, like you just drag it over your arm, then you will like print the ink on your arm, then you let it develop over the next few days, and it will go away in like 3 weeks.
What the?
Yeah, it's damn
Wait,
cool.
well, you say like you got it comes with you got to buy the cartridge, the machine.
You need
is
the
it?
ink lah and the
Machine
machine.
and the ink. Okay,
Yeah, then you have
okay, so you
ad.
customize it, and after that you send that maybe that machine thing, and then all you need to do is just.
Oh, it's like an online thing. You don't need to have one design. You can upload your designs on the app.
Right.
Then you will just print. It's like a printer.
Oh.
Yeah. So
it comes. So you don't even have the device, like it's just like you just paste it over.
you have the device.
Oh, okay.
You have the device. Like it prints on your skin.
Does it hurt?
No, it's just a roller. It's just a roller. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you know how like printer print on paper is just the ink
Yeah,
then they
yeah,
stamp
yeah,
one,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
just like that on your skin, Then
Okay.
it's tattoo ink,
Oh, that's
like tattoo the developer ink,
Right.
and then it will just darken over the next 24 hours.
And then it goes away in
3
like
weeks.
legit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Maybe. Next time you see me, I have like
Okay. Every year we'll change code, right?
prospecting never stops. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, what's the?
It's fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but okay lah. I got don't need buy lah. I got the
Yeah,
real
you got a legit one. Yeah, holy shit, I didn't know. Oh,
yeah, technology is insane nowadays.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then it's like it's kind of like the best of both worlds, right? It can have the feels and the experience, but yet it's not like
Permanent.
Permanent.
Then your meaning don't need already lah. You just you have
or
fun with
maybe
it lor.
it's kind of like you try it out
Yeah.
until a certain extent where
If
you
you're
realize
sure,
that
then you
this
get
is
it.
the one. Yeah, it's like trial.
Yeah,
Right, it's like trial.
Correct.
Expensive? How much is it?
Wow, I think maybe 100.
For like one-
I my phone. Let me see if I can find it.
Like for one of it, like one wait, do they only do words or like they do these
Yeah,
like
find for you, find for you.
holy shit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are thinking of getting a tattoo, you can have a temporary tattoo.
Wow. She
Um,
should sponsor me, sir.
it's overseas one. It's like from overseas.
Yeah, from overseas. Oh, okay
Ah,
lah, it's this kind lah.
right.
Yeah, see,
Oh,
it's like a
okay.
printer. You really just like drag it across your skin. You can
Oh, that's
print
cool.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay, 300 plus.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. Damn. Nice.
Yeah, but how advanced the designs can get, that one is a different
Fashion
story.
thing,
lah.
yeah.
That's why I say maybe like for code still okay.
Yeah. Are you getting
Yeah.
more?
Likely.
Right.
Not-
So right sleeve now.
I finished my left first, I think about.
What
the
if I
other parts
finish
now.
your left? Like
I go do full sleeve. I go cover everything.
when you say cover everything, like you can't even see like the
Yeah.
fresh kind.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's sticker
Wow.
book. Like this is like I think sticker book. Then I'm gonna do more big pieces. And then my artist is going to
Yeah.
link up the background. So it's just gonna be a sleeve.
Do you get judgment or sense any form of judgment from other advisors or like other advisors, maybe
About my tattoos?
agency company or like corporate people, do you sense like, it's like, hey, this girl, because especially like, it's not, I'm sure there will be some days that you're not going to wear like long sleeves and everything else, so you just like wear a dress, whatnot, right? So you can see. Yeah. Do you get like the kind of judgment or sense?
If have, they don't say it to my face. Then I don't care. It's okay.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Yeah. So, given now you're like 5 years, so you're like 24,
25.
25 this year? Yeah. So, what's kind of like your goal moving forward, right? In talking about goals, right? So, I think we had this conversation before, which was, everybody to a large extent, people are always being thrown the idea of like you need to achieve MDRT, right? You need to grind the shit out of yourself. You die must do it. If you don't, it's kind of like if you don't do it, you're a loser kind of thing, right? And have you been through that phase before? I'm not saying like anyone said you're a loser, but have you been through a phase of like you feel guilty or you feel bad for?
Or you
not
feel
wanting to
not
achieve
good enough,
MDRT.
or
Right.
you feel like you're not good enough, you're not doing enough. But I feel like it will always be there, right? And I used to care about it quite a bit, but now I'm like, doesn't really matter. Like it's all like arbitrary to me lah. Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it would be nice to have,
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's the same to me. It's the same with like the comms thing. Like if I'm doing
yeah.
it for the MDRT, right, then I shouldn't be doing it lah. Yeah.
And like obviously even without MDRT, without MDRT to your name or whatever it is, right? I know you still earn like a very decent income. And more importantly, you're happy. You just only work these few hours and enjoy the process. So how do you get out or transit out of that influence, right? Because I speak to 1,000 like from different companies, agencies, different countries. Like there are some advisors that just love earning $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month, 7. All income total, right? Recurring, whatever. And then they just like live a happy life, right? Have someone that didn't get MDRT but take care of his family and then just having fun and so on and so forth, right? So how do you stay to a certain degree, like stay true to yourself and not get influenced heavily or at all by the environment in which we are in? When I define environment, the environment that we're in is basically like agency leaders, directors, agency as a whole, companies, industry. Like how do you kind of like get out of that to begin with?
Well, I think you need to know what you want. No? Yeah. And I've also had difficulty with this. It's not like I'm 25, I know exactly what I want, But like I think the more like I weigh the idea of like MDRT, then I realized that it just wasn't that important to me. Yeah, I think if it really is important to you, you will know. Yeah, but maybe for me, accolades just don't matter lah. Yeah, or that's not the kind of like achievement or like validation that I need. Yeah, to feel good about myself. Yeah.
I know a lot of people are suffering from. I would say suffering. I would say the word. I use the word suffering. Yeah, they're suffering from this like whole notion or idea of I need to do MDRT, right? Like
It's
I
the
need to earn 6
benchmark.
figure. Yeah, I need to earn 6 figure. I need to be COT, and it's always like I want to do. I need to do MDRT. Then once you achieve MDRT, then it seems like you need to do COT, or do 2 rounds, that kind of stuff. Or at least, next year must do MDRT again, that kind of stuff. So
if
it's
you
like,
only hit one time, you're one hit wonder,
yeah,
then it doesn't matter. Then
yeah.
but you still hit it, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my point is like, for those who want to do it and they truly like has to have those intentions to do it, like
Yeah.
I think those are fine.
Okay, yeah.
But I think I also have a lot of people that I've spoken to that very clearly, like they themselves deep down also know that MDRT is not the key thing that they want. But it just all this influence and kind of like submitting to this whole idea of like, if you don't achieve it, you're a loser.
Yeah.
Like 你不是 MDRT 的, you know what I mean? Because like you look at companies, we kind of in my opinion, I think we over glorify MDRT.
Yeah.
Because like even you look at all the prestigious clubs or events, you must be MDRT mentor, MDRT this, MDRT, all this kind of bullshit, right? It's like, and I think like we over glorify them, and I truly believe like it will serve a group of people that would truly want MDRT and all this stuff. But I think also a majority of people like don't really just like want MDRT. They just want to like enjoy their time flexibility.
Yeah.
They just want to like just talk to warm, take a slightly longer route, and then like earn money and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So I truly feel like really like a lot of people are suffering from that. And it's just so hard, right? Because like every day you go to office or even in their WhatsApp chats, group chats, right? You definitely see like people are running for MDRT, right? Or they'll celebrate luncheon with my boss, congratulations, MDRT, that kind of shit. Like, yeah, and also to be honest, it's like my 2 cents, which is like, ladies and gentlemen,
it's discounted now.
It's discounted, right? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, it's not even, you know what's the thing? MDRT last time, and this is coming from someone who did MDRT, right? Like, I did MDRT, like, it was 110 grand. You can say it like, it's almost 10K a month. 10K a month. And then you can say that you can earn 6 figures, 100 grand and above. Now it's like, 70, 72, 79, whatever the number is. It's like, you're earning 6 grand a month, and then you're like screaming on top of your lungs that, you earn 6K a month. You know what I mean? Like, but I think more important is also like, is this something that you truly want? Right? Like, in my opinion right now, I think like people should aim for, instead of aiming for MDRT, accolades and everything else, I think maybe a different frame that might be helpful is,
how satisfied you are.
How satisfied you are. Like, I think we should use the different metrics.
But
to define.
Mel and I were talking about this the other day also. Not necessarily in work context, like life context also. Because it's like societal expectations and standards, right? The problem is that it's very hard to land on a metric. So then MDRT became a metric that nobody can run from. So I feel like the first step is just understanding that it's a metric that is just the easiest to settle on. It doesn't necessarily mean anything.
100%. I think that's why, like, we call it authentic advice. Because like we want to be true to ourselves, I think it's the same thing as like, imagine like you are required to score 90 and above for a test, right? A math test. Then the problem here is like, you're actually scoring 80. But then because of this benchmark of need to score 90, you stress the shit out of yourself. And then like, it affects all other areas of life, right? And then like the question becomes like, so what after you hit 90?
Then
it becomes,
go for another 90.
Right, you go for 90,
100.
and then with plus the therapy, right? Therapy is something. That's probably the kind of case,
I think it's the other thing also, but this is more of a human nature thing. Like, I also think you need to realize when we are just chasing more for the sake of it, because then you will never be content, then you will never slow down and enjoy your life. And then your happiness revolves around validation. Or what is this? It's the self-improvement track. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to want to self-improve, but what is the motivation behind that also? Like if you MDRT one time, you want to hit MDRT or COT again just so that people don't say you're one hit wonder, then I think it's really damn wrong already.
I think what you're referring to is also kind of like, talk about like state, right? Like, what's the intention, right? It's like, am I achieving MDRT because I need to prove to someone, right? Am I achieving MDRT because I need the money or whatever it is? Then if that's the case, right, then why don't you just say you just like the money? Like, you just aim for the money. Why need to be MDRT, right? It could be I aim for this amount, then just as MDRT is there, right? But I think it's, especially in sales industry, which insurance industry is a sales industry. It's just that sales, men and women selling insurance and investments and area of financial planning. That's basically right. The key thing here is like, we get so thrown with like the accolades thing. Like, even like in companies like Prudential, Great Eastern, like they also have internal achievements, and all their stuff. Right? I think it's like, I truly like when I start to reflect, I think there's actually a lot of people that are more unhappy with the thought of going after MDRT than people who are happy achieving MDRT.
I feel like it's getting a bad stigma already.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
MDRT.
yeah, yeah.
I can start to feel the shift, and when I talk
Yeah.
to people, it's kind of like, I mean, the younger folks will still get thrown by, oh, I need
Yeah.
MDRT. But when I speak to people who are 3, 4, 5, 6 years in the business, or even 20 years in business, right, they are like, MDRT, they rarely mention like MDRT as a goal. They're just like, I just want to either earn a certain amount of income a month, and or I just want to do or conduct my business in a different manner. So they can enjoy and then at the same time still do the things that they want, right? It's more like lifestyle, like the way you want to live your life, right? And you create a business around that more than, I just want to chase MDRT. Right? I was talking to like Mel just now and everything else, and then she was saying like, okay, MDRT was something that she go for. Then after she achieved 2 rounds, 3 rounds, and then she was like, she sees no need to like go for it or whatever it is. And then what matters to her was a lot of like her freedom, her mental health, so on and so forth, right? And then that became like the bigger priority, or become the priority for her.
Yeah. Okay lah, I mean, no right or wrong, you want to go for
100%.
MDRT, but again, it's just who you listening to. Is it really for yourself? Yeah, or you just chasing validation? Because if not, you're not gonna be happy lah, I feel. Yeah.
Then the question becomes like, is being happy something that's required, right?
Though I think it's important lah. We're only here for like 80 years. Yeah. We're here for, our lifespan is very short eh. Yeah. Then if you spend, I don't know, if you spend like 10 years chasing something and then you realize it doesn't make you happy, then
you can never buy those 10 years.
Yeah, you can never buy back those 10 years. Yeah, so I rather like enjoy my day today. If I happen to get MDRT, right, okay lah, sweet lah. Yeah, great lah. Yeah, but if I'm unhappy doing it, that I don't want lah.
Yeah. And that's why, like, defining success, what success look like to you, right? I think it has to be more beyond just money or beyond just the business. We talk about like different quadrants of life, right? Which is like you have the wealth portion, you have health, right? You have relationship, and then you have the relationship with yourself, right? And the truth is like, and let's be honest, right? At any point in time, any part of your quadrant gets messed up, even if the other three quadrants are doing amazing, the most ideal. But let's just say your wealth is doing well, right? You're earning like 100,000 a month. You have great relationship with your parents and your partner. And then after that, you also have a good relationship with yourself, whatever it is, right? But your health took a hit, right? Because maybe you're busy serving all these things, improving on yourself, family or everything else. Ends up, you don't sleep enough. You end up getting like super obese, fat, stressed, or whatever it is. And you get sick. Then you realize that even the other three is doing the best, right? It doesn't matter anymore.
You will start to affect also.
100%, right? And this, like, my story was like, when I started this business, I was like 82, 83 kg. And then within 2 years, I went up to 104. Right? So, yes, was my wealth kind of growing? Was I like having better relationships? 100%, right? Was I growing a lot? Sure. But when my health, I was obese, Ash. I was like super obese. And then, trust me, like at a point in time, like there were sort of health conditions that popped up and everything else. You like the money at a point in time, like when you are sick, not only like having fever kind of sick, but when you know you have a illness that is plaguing you, that's pestering you on a day-to-day basis, it's like your money don't even matter. Like you would like, I would trade 100 grand to get this cured.
Yeah, you know that TikTok video I sent you this morning?
Yeah.
You know the guy, you didn't watch it? Did you watch it?
I know. Like, I did. Okay, it's Brian Johnson or something, right? The guy that,
he paid 2 million just to keep himself young, every year.
Correct.
Yeah, he's just buying back time.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
Correct. So my point is like, you see, if you screw up the health, like money doesn't matter. I think there was a quote that, I think it was by Robin Sharma, like the 5 AM Club, right? I think he said like, health is the crown, right, that only the sick can see. Yeah, right. So I truly believe, like, especially in this generation that we are in, there's World War I, World War II, and everything else. Yeah, and technically now I feel like it's usually, I can't remember what's the book called, but basically they kind of like say that if you look at history, like every 80 years there's a big change, there's a war.
It's the 2020, right?
Correct,
all the
right.
cycles.
Correct. 2020, then it's every 80.
Correct.
So right now technically it's a World War III, and it's not so much about like the Russian-Ukraine war, but I think now the war is not so much about like I'm trying to invade a country, but the war is more of the changing of the ideals of the previous generation of how life used to be.
Yeah,
right?
they say Gen Z is the activist
Correct.
generation. Ma. They
100%.
are changing all the notions,
100%.
the narratives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you look at like, even look at the insurance industry, right? You look at last time, it's always MDRT, earn a lot of money,
Yeah.
sales, right? Now people are coming in. I mean, I'm coach a few like directors, and they're saying like, all these, and these people are like 40, 50s, right? And then they're like, wow, nowadays the kids come in, wow, one purpose, want to be happy. And then they were like, question mark, in my time it's all about how to earn money, lah. What purpose, what shit. You know, but that's the
Yeah.
truth, right?
Yeah.
Because right now we are in a stage whereby we want a different life.
Yeah.
Right? We truly understand that like life is not only defined just by money. Right? And that certain sacrifices need not be made if we understand the trade-off.
Okay lah, I would say we are privileged to be able to have this kind of thinking also lah. Yeah, because our parents generation,
100%.
they really had to work very
100%.
hard to get to where like we are today. Yeah, but yeah lah, we are lucky lah. We're lucky.
Yeah. I kind of like think that in like next 5, 10 years, 15 years, right? When people come into the industry and they don't give a shit about MDRT, yeah, only a small percentage will go after MDRT, and that's fine. But I think people will still earn 100 grand, 200 grand, and yet not care about MDRT, right? It's not about don't earn the money, right? It's not about don't do sales. No, it's doing it, but knowing that we are coming from a place of, like, even like in our program in Amsterdam, we talk about like value driven, right? Yeah, a lot of people is like, okay, how can I get opening and closing, right? How can I like open you up, right? Cross it up, but then for us, it's like, how can we provide a value and service first that leads to opening and closing, right? Yeah, because we no longer want to be perceived as like just another advisor.
Oh, I hate the stigma, man. It's so annoying.
Yeah, and the thing is like this, it happens for a reason, right? Like it happens because like there are people that still are there.
Yeah, we are fixing the
it's
errors
like
of the previous generation lah.
Yeah. Right? So
Yeah,
that's
annoying.
that, you know. And like, I think sometimes you know, the previous generation and like the older people and everything else, they will say things like, you know what, the young kids have it easy, etc., so on and so forth, right? But then a counter argument or like thought process for that is like, it should be easy, what? Right? It should be easier. We should get it easier because you guys work hard to change and help us, what? So first of all,
like the world is getting better, right?
So
like...
first of all, a big thank you, like true appreciation. But I think it cannot be. I really don't encourage it to be like, hey, you young folks, you know, this kind of like contempt.
There's
bitterness, like, oh, you know, last time my blah blah blah. But yeah, I know, like, thank you.
Yeah.
Right, you know, and therefore like it is easier.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, maybe we don't show enough appreciation.
Yeah, right. But I think like even like for us right now, like in the future 10, 20, 30 years later, our future kids or the future generation will have it easier than us. You look at AI. Right? Imagine actually last time you had to do the content.
I need to write on my own.
Yeah. No, even like you thought you did the content, you literally had to like one by one, you know, so on and so forth. Now it's like
manually go and find and research.
ChatGPT, just upload, and then it's like a ton of tools. Exactly, right? So like life gets easier and it's better, you know.
Yeah.
So, but what do you think of AI though?
AI, I'm scared. I think it's great now. But I'm not sure if I want to be here if it blows up.
What do you mean by blows up? Like what's the, how do you like look at it?
Maybe I watch too much like sci-fi shit. Like, you
I
know,
think
like robots take over the world, or like
okay.
your data gets like publicized, or I think there was this one guy, I forgot his name already. I read an article, he's going around scanning people's irises as part of one of his projects or something, and it's free or something like that. Then the comment section, I remember people just saying, if you're not paying for it, then you're the product. Like there's something wrong, you know? Yeah, and it's just very scary, like where all of this is going. Like, you know, now with all the deep fake shit, right?
Oh yeah.
Like I was having a discussion with my friends the other day. I can imagine, right, if somebody now, right, decides to deepfake like Putin declaring like World War III or something, and it spreads, right, and people don't even bother to like check whether it's like doctor
right?
or
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Then that's it, we all die, you know.
I think it was there was some like extreme use. I think like, you know, the was it one
that case
no, there was one like, it was like for like sex one. It's like
the nudes, right?
Yeah, like Wonder Woman, I think Gal Gadot or something like that.
Oh,
yeah, like they
shit.
literally defake her. Like and porn and everything else.
It's crazy. Yeah, so I'm scared. I'm very scared.
In that sense.
Okay, I think I feel like people used to talk this way about social media.
Yeah, that's
right?
so true. Like at the point in time we are saying like, you know, either we're casting stone on social media or we say like, you know, social media is gonna ruin the lives of kids.
Yeah.
That kind of shit, yeah.
Okay lah, to a certain we will see what happens lah. Okay, it's just a new way of life. But my point is, right, I think at the end of the day, it's how you decide to use it. Yeah, it's how you decide to interact or engage with what is given, right? So AI doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use it for good also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how have you used AI? Have you used AI so far for social media?
Yeah, so like last time, I think the research part is the biggest. Yeah, so last time like I had to manually like I think I got like 20, 30 tabs open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's more or less like if I have a general understanding of the topic already, right? Then I just need I just key in ChatGPT, can you help me like generate a list
Right.
of things? Yeah, elaborate a little bit, right? Then I can pick from there, and then my research is cut down
Right.
by a lot. Yeah, I still do my own writing. Then I just feed it back into ChatGPT to vet whether like the grammar or like whatever
Right,
makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah, but in terms of like things like how you want to structure your content or like the accuracy of like the numbers or the information, that one you need to go and double check lah. But yeah, AI has cut down a lot of time. Yeah,
Right.
even now or last time when I do my voiceover, right, I need to manually go and caption. Yeah, now got AI captioning. I mean, you and Kelly are using it,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Yeah, you
yep.
just feed the video in, it comes out. Then at most you
Captions,
edit only.
100%.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so yeah, I like it but I'm scared I like it, but I'm
Yeah,
scared.
we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, before we wrap up, so this is a question I always ask, right? Which is, so if there is one thing you would do differently, knowing what you know now, back when you are day one, you get a license, what would you do differently?
Can I say
If you had to do differently,
if I had to do different?
yeah.
Oh, can I say don't worry so much?
Don't worry so much.
I wouldn't worry so much. Yeah, like especially with like all the notions that you need to MDRT, you need
Yeah.
to reach a certain level of achievement, a certain level of income and all that kind of stuff, right? I think we also tend to forget that like our lives are just working its way out, as it will also. And you can control stuff lah, of course, yeah, but don't forget to like, don't because you're worrying or stressing out about not hitting these things that you forget to enjoy like the little moments. Yeah, because like now like that I'm here and I look back, right?
Yeah.
All those things were necessary ma. Because I think I'm a very big believer also that you need to grow into the person that, okay, maybe deserves is the wrong word lah. Yeah. You need to grow into a person that like all these things are like congruent with. Yeah, then there is some form of like ease also. That all these things will just come. Yeah. I sound like a hippie.
Yeah.
Manifest.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, like you always say also like focus more on your personal growth. Yeah. Over business. Yeah. Because it all comes from you ma, all intrinsic what.
Work on
Yeah.
yourself more than
Yeah.
what you work in your career. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that I think that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ash.
No problem.